Are you guys ready
Oh
for this
man.
ridiculous story for me to read?
Yeah.
I'm getting with you. Wait, is there a link?
No, I was going to read it to you.
Oh yes, please go ahead.
All right. So this came from Ask Reddit from 5 months ago. And it said, "What's the weirdest encounter you've had that led to sex?" So this guy tells a story. Bear with me. It's long, but I think it's worth it. So I've been single for a few months, and I was in dire need of a slump buster. There was a dive bar near me, which had a target-rich environment for chicks that you wouldn't tell anyone you hooked up with. Being in need, I set the bar pretty low and had a decent expectation of leaving my abode that I would be able to come across a lady that would either weigh in at cruiser/heavyweight or be as ugly as Rosie O'Donnell but without the open scabs. So I got to the bar, and apparently everyone else had the same idea. There was more sausage than a YMCA concert, and every fat chick had 2 to 3 dudes hitting on her. It was like all these chicks woke up as 2s, and they were 7 or 8s when they hit the bar. So I'm trying to decide if I should just leave and go home and fap to the new Sears catalog, or saddle up to the bar and order a beer. Shortly after the urine that they call beer arrives, this female octogenarian sits next to me and asks why I look so pissed off. Now, for those of you that don't know what an octogenarian is, that's someone who's 80 years old. I tell her how there was a lot of hog in the bar, and I was grabbing a drink before I went home. So we chat for a bit, and she's buying me a beer. So I say, fuck it. At least I'm getting the drink for free. And I listen to her yap on, as women are wont to do, for an hour or two, and keep checking out the lady population. The parking lot is emptying, and the ladies are starting to disappear as guys stuffed oversized women into their cars and ride back to their places as the car tilted at 45-degree angles, smelling of Cheerios and broken dreams. Meanwhile, I'm talking to a lady who likely voted for FDR. I finally decide, after about 6 free beers and a shot, that I'm headed home and to get the Vaseline and rubber spatula and rub one out for a night of solo action. Rubber spatula?
What?
Grandma tells me that she lives close by, and it would be nice if I walked her to her door. Being the gentleman I am, I said, fuck that shit, it's cold outside. So she said she would just follow me for as long as we were going in the same direction. Fine, whatever. So once again, I have to listen to her drone on about the price of insure or some shit until I reach my apartment complex. I mumble like good night or rest in peace and head up to my place. I get to my door and put the keys in, and this bitch had followed me the whole way there. I turn to her and I'm like, listen, I just want to have a good fap and go to bed. Apparently, that romantic statement was what she was looking for, because she grabbed my junk like a death row inmate getting their last supper and said, why? I don't do it for you? So like all men, I made a bad decision, and 1,000 things go through my mind at once, and I said, well, at least you're not doing it to yourself. So we head into my place, and I sit on the nasty couch and yank out the purple-headed warrior, which is 100% limp at this point. Grandma goes after it like a hungry dog on a meaty bone and is giving me some serious grade A head. I start thinking that I made the right choice here and begin thinking of ways I'm going to tell her to get out after I get her FDA-approved dosage of DNA pudding. While this is running through my mind, apparently Grandma was doing some ninja shit, and before I know it, she has her pants off and starting to remove her shirt. Okay, forget what I said. This is a bad idea, and the look of her half-naked body is making me go limp. Granny tells me that she's going to need some attention, and that if I liked what I got earlier, I would love what her kitten had for me. So I'm half limp, and functioning part of my brain is like, okay, she did give good head. Fuck it, let's see what this is all about. So she sits down on the couch and saddles her hips up to the edge as I try to furiously stuff my mostly limp self into a condom. I manage to make things work and slowly slide.
What's the point?
Well, yeah, don't want to get her pregnant.
You think Granny's got the clap? Come on.
So I managed to make things work. It's like sliding your dick into a glass of warm pudding. I slowly go about my business and start questioning my life choices that brought me to this point. I'm getting lost in my thoughts when Eleanor Roosevelt whispers something to my ear that will haunt my very dreams. If I wanted to be fucked like an old lady, I would have fucked an old man. Now, that should have been the straw that broke the camel's back, and I should have just sucked up the ego hit and kicked her ass out. Instead, I felt the need to defend my manly honor and started pile-driving Granny's roast beef box like the Undertaker at WrestleMania. At this point, I'm trying to find my focus so I can get my mind over with it, but my ability to orgasm is hindered by the fact that A, I might have broken her hips. And B, she's hooting and hollering like she just won the Showcase Showdown. As a, as a testament to my depravity, I did manage to fire one off, grabbing her breasts that probably suckled kids from the Great Depression. After that, it was just a haze of getting dressed and me thinking as I passed out that I hope I didn't remember what I had done. Sadly, that is not the case. So there it is. Somehow
It
I
made
thought
me
that
sad.
story would be good for PKA.
Good for him. Well, no.
Like, I feel like that snake woman I fucked that time was a good story, but that really takes the cake. You fucked that 80-year-old woman, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that probably won that comment thread.
I think it did. Yeah, it was linked to recently.
That's so gross. Wouldn't you just feel guilty?
No, I'd do that. I think I would do that just to do it. Yeah, I'd fucking.
No,
I don't know
when
who the
you get
victim
in the
was.
moment, you wouldn't want to.
Nah, I just, you know, if it looked too rough, I just kind of close my eyes and think of something
I
more
guess if
fun,
you're
but-
7 drinks in, you pretty loose
Nah,
to the suggestion.
Stone sober. Let's just make it happen. I want. Let's try some new stuff here.
There you go.
Yeah.
Open your mind, Taylor.
We could talk about history while we did it. Like, I'd love to know what the Great Depression was like.
Yeah. What were the 60s like?
Tell me about Eisenhower. Yeah. What was Castro like in the old days? Like
How long did people really hate Germans after the war?
I want to know this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have no problem with that.
All right.
What's the oldest? What's the oldest lady that you would have sex with, Taylor?
Give it some
That's
thought.
so loaded. Let me think.
Like no, like
There's-
celebrity dream, like magic scenarios. Just your average
No.
lady, you know. A
Let's
good
assume
looking.
she's not heavy though, or something, right? Just
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
Yes, well, that's assumed.
She took pretty good care of herself, but you know,
Mhm.
she's not running marathons anymore. She's spry, but she's 80.
Probably at this point in my life, I'm thinking 50s. 50s or maybe 60. But once
Woody,
you get
don't
to
miss
60,
your shot.
that just seems so old.
Don't waste these next few years, Woody. Time is precious now. You need to make your moves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to have sex with one of those ladies who's so old that like their skin looks like paper and like, it's like translucent and it looks like you could like scratch their. It looks like you could like tear their face off. You know what I mean? Like if you really wanted to, you could just like like take their face. Like
Or you could like make origami out of their neck skin.
I think I think that happens in their 90s and especially in the upper 90s, like when they get like real decrepit looking, like basically like they're dead almost already. Like if I'm being honest, but like, I definitely go into the 60s. I think, if she was if she was attractive in some way at all, I really don't think I'd care about the number, and I probably would fuck an 80-year-old, you know, just to say I had. That'd be cool.
There's a gap there, though. Like,
That escalated quickly.
if like 85 was like your limit, Kyle, but if like 118-year-old lady who was like one of the oldest in the world wanted to, I think anyone would do that just for the story to be able, and then mainly for the conversation afterward, to be able to ask about like what what the world 1904 World's Fair was like.
I think I'd tell everybody I fucked her, but really I'd just like jerk off on her or something, and just do that. I think that's what I'd do. She wouldn't remember it anyway.
I think there becomes.
Oh, she's dead.
I think there's a final a line there where the story just is no longer worth it.
Oh, it's worth it.
You know,
And they probably would literally die. Like if you serve someone that old their coffee a little too hot, the shock would just kill them.
very soon there'll be no one alive from the 1800s.
Yeah,
Oh
I saw
yeah,
that.
there's only
It's
like
like two
2
more.
people or something.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be 115 at least now, and I want to say
Oh,
the
geez,
oldest tend to be like 118, 115.
I don't think there are any. Nah, I don't think there are any people left from the 1800s then.
No, there are. The last of the 90s kids.
Oh, we have to turn our cameras back on.
The gay 90s.
The last of the 90s kids. I didn't think of it that way.
Damn.
Oldest person. Oh, look at
That's like
this.
what their meme would be. It'd be like, only 90s kids remember this, and it's a horse and carriage. Or
So there's currently, wow, there's at least 10 people. The top 10 oldest people are all from the 1800s, and they're all women.
Did you guys lose the camera video? Your camera feed?
Yeah,
I
I'm
lost
waiting
everybody's
for it to
video.
come back.
I can see Taylor.
I
It
can
just
see
takes it
Taylor,
a
too.
while.
Yeah,
It just takes a while.
Exactly. It'll be here soon, and then they'll get brighter, and everything will be cool.
I was like, I didn't turn my lights down.
Well, there's a 122-year-old
Shit.
French lady.
What the
Shit.
Come on. No, she's dead. She's dead.
She just died.
She died in the
And
middle of that
she's dead.
sentence during the combat.
Oh no, he's right. She is dead. She died in 1997. I'm looking at the oldest
told you.
people ever. I want the oldest people living, and here we are. There are only two. One of them is American, actually, the oldest one.
Jebediah.
One is Chinese, right?
No,
No, I'd be surprised.
So the
because
current,
it seemed like some of those Asian countries held like the longest living records for
Yeah,
a
the
long
Japanese
time.
we
keep
do.
poets.
So of the oldest people ever, we have 5 of the top 10, and Japan has 2, and no one else has more than 1.
But those 2 in Japan lived as long as those other 5. I swear.
The 5th place is the top Japanese person. America owns 2, 3,
I feel like they
7, 9, 10. But what was I gonna say? Oh, the oldest people now, Japan is killing it. Japan has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 10. America has 2. Although we do have
And
the
if-
oldest person right now.
Imagine if you were like 114 years old and you just found out about like Game of Thrones. Even if you started binge watching it, there's like a real possibility you couldn't get
Not
through.
gonna make it.
Yeah, you're like,
Precious little time.
The- well,
I'm
some
not
of the
going to make it to the Red Wedding.
some of the anxiety that show gives might be enough to knock one of them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay,
Oh,
can you
geez.
turn your
Yeah.
camera on and off?